No, just go forward like you've got it. No, just drive very slowly forward. No, stop. This isn't good. Maybe time to run the winch. Alright, quick update on what's happening over here. I've been running back and forth videoing, and somehow Elizabeth's ended up getting a little too close to the edge, and the sand's just pulling her further and further off, so we're gonna run the winch. There's not much to winch off. I'm thinking there's a tree up on the hill there. It doesn't look like much, but I'm hoping it's enough to pull the front end round.
Well, I am stuck yet again today. If I try and push the accelerator, I slide down this hill. It's not ideal. Rob is very happy he married me, and I'm very happy we bought this winch that I honestly thought was useless, but it's not useless. We're going up to the right to hopefully reach a tree up there. I think the fact that we have to trust this strap on a pretty young tree is alarming. Yep, trying to remain calm. Apparently that's to prevent the strap from snapping back and injuring one of us. Because that would be bad.
Alright.
How much do you love me?
Right now, you're pushing it to the limits. First you almost roll this vehicle, and then you almost drive it off the side of a cliff.
I'm having a good day.
Depending on the outcome of this tree, decides whether or not I take you home again. I'm hoping, it's a very raggedy looking tree, but the trees here in the sand dunes have very, very long root systems. So I'm hoping, really hoping that's gonna pull us up. I put it right in the base anyway.
Great. I mean, you won't have to take me home if I roll off the cliff.
That is true, but I'll have to walk home, and I'd rather take my vehicle home.
Wow.
Alright, take your foot off the brake. Give it a little gas.
Oh God.
Give it a little gas. Alright, just hold it there. Left on the gas. Left. Alright, we did it. That was a little nerve-wracking. I'm really glad I put the winch in. I put the winch on a few weeks ago, like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and I don't think we would have got out that without the winch. Maybe traction boards, but I wouldn't want to trust traction boards in that case. But the little tree up there held up. You can see those things, it looks really old and really fragile, but they have really, really deep root systems in the sand here. So they're pretty strong. Anyway, I'm gonna get packed up, and I may just see you at camp. I think I'm done now. Maybe even tomorrow. We've got a lot of laundry to do. And had a lot of close calls today. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a day for the videoing.
Well, we made it. The winch worked. That's the cliff right there that we nearly slid down. You can see where the track started sliding. Yeah, I'm not allowed to drive anymore. Shocker.
For the most part, the rest of the trail was a lot easier. There's one notable exception, a giant sandy hill. If you're taking this trail heading west, be prepared to go up it with a winch. Heading east, we were going down it, so we had no problems. Once you pass the hill, it's flat, firm, and scenic, with plenty of creek crossings. Good morning. There are no spectacular views for you today. We're at High Road Campground just outside of Zion National Park, and there's nothing special about this campground. It actually is kind of expensive for what you get, but it is right next to the national park, so it's really the location that you pay for here. It does have laundry as well, so we're able to get our clothes cleaned because I was down to my last t-shirt. So plan for today is we're gonna just spend the day driving around, seeing the sights, doing touristy things. No trails for you today, and then we're gonna come back here again tonight, and then tomorrow we'll hit the trails. It's about a 30-minute drive from High Road Base Camp into Zion Canyon, and it's a stunning drive that takes you through a 1.1-mile-long tunnel that was constructed in 1927. Once in the canyon, you normally use a shuttle to get into the park, but they are not running when we visited. Instead, we were lucky enough to be one of the 400 vehicles allowed on the scenic road into the canyon. Well, we got really lucky here at Zion. Like I said, they're only allowing 400 people in the park at any one time just because it's limited on space or parking spaces. And right as we were about to drive past the scenic road, the entrance to the park, we noticed the person start waving at us as we were looking in. So we turned in, came down, and it was blocked about halfway along, and we really wanted to go to the end, to the narrows. And right as we pull up to the roadblock, we stopped to look at the map. When we get done looking at the map, they've moved the roadblock out the way, and it's open all the way to the end. And we got one of very few parking spaces up here at the end. So we're getting ready to hike the Narrows, which I absolutely love, especially on a hot summer's day like this. You can probably see I'm sweating. It's about 90 degrees, but it's gonna be really nice and cool hiking the Narrows. Were,
in the water.
were you recording when you fell?
Yes.
It's still recording. Nice. We are back in the sand again. We can't escape it down here in southern Utah. So we're on a trail, or on the trail to go to Peekaboo Canyon, a little slot canyon down here. And it's about 2 miles out, 2 miles back. I really didn't want to have to air down because when we get off the trail at the end, it's going to be straight back onto pavement for quite some time, so I'm going to have to air up again. But even in 4 low, it was struggling at street pressure. So we're airing down. I'm going to try going down to about 20 psi, which is not ideal for sand. Usually I go down to somewhere just below 15 for driving on sand, but I hope it'll do the job. Right now the trail's kind of, I'll show you there, it's kind of packed down, so hopefully it'll be okay. It's a good thing we did air down. The trail split and we chose to go left. The further we went, the softer the sand got, until we were pretty much driving on dunes again. While at the canyon, we'd met another couple who informed us that the other route from the split earlier followed a wash and avoided the soft dunes. We took it back out to the highway and drove the 50 miles southeast to Cottonwood Canyon Road. The trail started dusty, hot, boring, and hot, but the further north we went, the prettier it got and the more the temperature dropped.
By the time we reached Dixie National Forest, it had cooled significantly, and as we climbed up into the hills, it got very pleasant. When we got to camp, all we could hear was the sound of the wind in the trees.
So we just got set up for camp here, up high on a hilltop in the forest. It's nice and cool up here. I think it's about 70 degrees compared to the 100 degrees it was down in the desert. You didn't see any of the journey here just because we wanted to get here quickly. It's coming up to 8 in the evening, so we need to set up, have dinner, get showered, get to bed, and didn't want to spend all day filming. But we're set up overlooking a reservoir behind me in Dixie National Forest. We've got Bryce Canyon is probably about half a mile just off to the east, so got a good location here. I'll mark it on Gaia as usual, so you can find your own way here if you're one of my Patreon subscribers. And tomorrow we're going to head into Bryce.
The next morning we made the short drive to a trail shown on the National Forest Service maps that led directly into Bryce Canyon National Park.
Well, we were about half a mile from Bryce Canyon, and I thought we could get in using the back roads. You can see boundary line, but the gate is padlocked, so yeah, half a mile away, but we have to drive probably about 10 miles to actually get back into Bryce Canyon, unfortunately. So turn around and go back the way we came.
Almost 20 miles later, we got to the park. Bryce Canyon is a beautiful and colourful amphitheatre made up of hoodoos up to 200 feet high. There are fantastic views from the top, but one of the best ways to experience the park is to take a hike. So we filled up the water and headed down the trail.
So in continuing the theme of going down places that aren't really suitable for video, we're in Wall Street in Bryce Canyon, and obviously it's really tall and narrow, which isn't suited to the landscape view, so we can rotate the camera. How about this? If you're watching on a phone, you can just rotate the phone for that. If you're on a computer, I guess just turn your head sideways.